Welcome to Salamone, the podcast. With me, Michael Salamone. This week,
it's month end, so it's time to talk about the things I learned.
Things I learned in December.
2015, that is. It's a bunch of little rants all brought together.
I'm Michael Salamone. This is my show.
Yep. Welcome to Salamone. I'm Michael Salamone, and now the Sala Show. At the end of every month, I take all the posts from social media and things I've journaled and try and tie them in together into one big mega rant that we call Things I Learned. This is Things I Learned in December. The cotton in tampons is apparently riddled with pesticides. And so now I'm worried about the women in my life even more so than usual. I know that sexuality is supposed to be fluid, but this straight male still prefers to eat gingerbread women. Apparently, the Democratic National Committee would like to do away with voting altogether. That's if Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz had her way. She aims to coronate Hillary Clinton without fair primaries, and far too many Democrats are apologists for that. At least, though, I know why I started getting Hillary 2016 emails in late October. It's because of this data breach. I thought it was one of you being a jerk to me. The dirty tricks are ahead of schedule, though. I mean, the Clintons at least waited until after the holidays to accuse Obama of being a secret Kenyan Muslim 8 years ago. Apparently, everyone who's ready for her is also ready to slander a good man and alienate the progressive wing of the party, which is good to know. I propose that if Hillary Clinton wins the nomination without Wasserman Schultz stepping down as chair of the DNC, an asterisk forever appears by Hillary Rodham Clinton's name. I can hear the Hillbots and their party before country, us versus them excuse already. But W stole an election first. Wasserman Schultz is the new Katherine Harris. I honestly believe the media cartels want you to be scared of ISIS because they don't want you to understand that income inequality is worse in this country than it was in 1774. Over 90% of Republicans, Democrats, and independents agree on one issue, campaign finance reform. Yet no debate moderator dares mention it. How the F are beauty pageants still a thing in 2015? People shouldn't be treated like livestock. Free Steve Harvey from misogyny. CNN seemed really upset that the Las Vegas driver wasn't a terrorist. That's creepy. Kenny Rogers says Trump says what everyone is thinking, so now I'm thinking Kenny Rogers is a racist. Islands in the stream. In our American Christmas play, Donald Trump is King Herod, looking for babies to round up and murder. You know, I'm pretty tough on my former friends, the Clintons, but I'm awfully grateful to them for teaching me the phrase Hispander this week. Just like I'm grateful to Trump for making every newscaster in the country use the word schlonged these past few days. Schlonged is the Christmas miracle I've hoped for. My favorite Christmas song is probably Two Live Crew's Face Up, Ass Down. However you December 25th, may it be merry and bright, unless you're light sensitive. Then may it be jolly and dark, or quiet and dimly lit. I don't know, whatever fills your stockings. Humans are just like coupons. We are redeemable right up to our expiration. I prefer the Kinks version of Gloria over the Christmas Carol version. Insomniac in the sheets, narcoleptic in the streets. Every Caucasian man over 50 in Cleveland, Ohio seems to have white 70s era perms for a hairstyle. The Democratic Party is primary rigging, anti-democracy criminal organization led by the Sith Lord Wasserman Schultz. Leave it to the GOP and CNN to kick off a political debate like a NASCAR race, complete with the trashy country singer doing the anthem. Republican presidential candidates, including the Republican masquerading as a Democrat, Hillary Clinton, are all such pussies that they're willing to shred the Constitution because they're scared of a cult for coming to get them. Short-form GOP debate: how many rights are too many for Muslims? I was anxious that I probably wouldn't see Star Wars until the weekend it came out, but mostly I'm anxious and scared that someone besides Bernie Sanders might end up my president. Despite the GOP-CNN debate being about terrorism, not one word was mentioned about right-wing fundamentalist Christian terrorism, the religious fanatics behind all but 2 of the U.S.-based terror attacks since 9/11. The GOP talked about working with the King of Jordan, who has been dead since 1999, and taking away freedom of information through the internet due to Facebook posts that never existed. This proved that politicians never let facts get in the way of a good narrative. Speaking of narrative, why doesn't CNN fact-check the candidates, or even any of the pundits they have on during regular programming? For instance, there is no encryption problem. You have the right to protect your identity and your data. The Constitution protects every citizen from warrantless searches. You get to choose who sees your dick pics and sexy Santa selfies. Also, despite what CNN and the GOP would have you believe, the U.S. military is the largest in the world, and bigger than the next 9 militaries combined. All right, let's have a bunch of fake Star Wars The Force Awakens spoilers. The Cantina Band was a one-hit wonder and now plays the Star Wars casino circuit. For my fellow nerds, that band's name was Fergan Dan and the Modad Nodes. Greedo decomposes first. Wedge is no longer a pilot, he just sits in fast food restaurants drinking decaf all day. Uncle Ben's rice fortune funds Black Ops missions for General Leia's army. An aging Chewbacca now wears a full-body Wookiee toupee made from donated Ewok hair. It may have been weird seeing Star Wars product placement on everything from apples to condoms, but they really should have called those condoms lightsaber sheaths. May the Force be with you, and also with you. Happy Life Force Day, B. Arthur. Trying to plot out my own midlife crisis is so stressful. Is there a special sort of event planner to help me with it? I've never been a car guy, so I'm thinking of replacing sports car with ponytail. I just found my favorite Frank Zappa t-shirt from my 20s, so this shit is a go. As a child, I had a little inflatable Incredible Hulk punching bag. As an adult, I have a giant-sized inflated Michael Salamone one. America had this really great melting pot until someone went and took a Trump on it. The same Americans who desperately need civics lessons tend to desperately need lessons in civility. Hillary Clinton's support of Rahm Emanuel and his conspiracy to cover up a murder solidifies why I will leave the DNC if she is nominated as the nominee. Long live Jimmy Carter. Let's honor his beating cancer by moving the Democratic Party back to the center or Carter-era left, pre-Clinton selling us out to lobbyists. Never forget Hillary Clinton started the secret Muslim rumors about Obama. Also, Secret Muslim is the best 1980s song by Atlantic Starr. The president asked Congress for forever war powers against a cult Sunday night. U.S.-based cults still will enjoy tax-exempt status, though. I wonder where we would be if in 1972 the people of the world would have listened to the OJs and joined hands and joined the love train. I'm really worried what's going to happen to right-wing Christian America when they find out there are no guns in the Bible, and that Jesus is the Messiah in the Koran. This land is my land, this land is my land. That's the new Trump supporter theme song. Civil rights stalled in the 1960s, rock music in the 1970s, the economy in the 1980s, the quality of life in the 1990s. We've been coasting since, and the brakes are out. Justice Scalia really made me think about how do we recall a Supreme Court justice? What a bigot. I think he should trade that black robe for a white one with a hood. I've been doing this weekly editorial. You can find it at theelizabethan.com. I post it on Daily Kos, on Medium, on my own website. So I hope that you'll consider checking that out. Twice as many people shopped on Black Friday in America that voted in the 2014 midterm elections. This is why we are screwed as a culture. Now, I may come off as anti-consumerism, which I certainly attain to be, but I'll spend my last dollar on a small batch sarsaparilla any day of the week. When you wear your heart on your sleeve, avoid getting too close to shitty people to make sure they don't get shit on your heart. Donald Trump is the single best thing to happen to George W. Bush's legacy. Trump signed a woman's chest at a campaign rally. He and Bill Clinton will high-five about it next time they chat. When they learned that Bernie Sanders was getting a hernia surgery this month, Hillary Clinton's staff began polling to see if voters would like it if she had a hernia surgery too. Don't you think America's first female president should probably not have two different shady rape trials in her past, where she sided with the rapist who perjured himself to blame the victims? I do, even if one was her husband, who was impeached over lying about his raping. Every 2 minutes, someone in the United States is sexually assaulted. 44% of those are under the age of 18, and 68% go unreported. As exemplified by the Clintons and now Rahm Emanuel in Chicago, the Democrats need to clean up their own dirty politicians in our own party before they can expect us to point fingers at the Republicans in the general election. Blue corruption isn't any better than red corruption. My thoughts and prayers are with the candidates on the take from the arms manufacturers, the NRA, and the war profiteers. Save them from their sins. Traditional geek interests are so mainstream now, I'm considering other obscure hobbies, perhaps dead letter taxidermy or cheese colonics. I have an unnatural attraction to women with nose rings. I don't see what the big deal about tortilla chips is. I'm a single white male, drug and disease-free, furry and fluffy, well-endowed and occasionally charming, seeking a single female with an underground bunker to hide out in during the coming crusades in World War. And just to be clear, by D&D free, I mean that I give up playing Dungeons & Dragons for you if you have a bunker, and I'm bringing that up passive-aggressively. Message me with a current photo, list of 5 favorite comic book characters, and verifiable references who will attest that you aren't racist, stupid, cruel, or straight-up evil. Thanks. Hey, have a happy December 25th, no matter how you December 25th. I'm Michael Salamone, reminding you to please, please be good to one another. Cheers.
Salamone is a podcast recorded for a streaming internet audience. Archives can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all the places you can find podcasts these days, and at michaelsalamone.com. I think you should